Hey team. Today I'm just offering some yoga that's all geared towards getting moving, breaking a sweat, and even moving through that stress. It's said that stress as an emotion can be a roller coaster, and we kind of have to finish the ride, and a little bit of somatic stimulation, that decision to get into your body and letting your body move through its own process and express itself, can be a really powerful way to de-stress. I don't know about you, but I go a little stir crazy when I'm asked to hold still, so this is an opportunity for us to move together. So go ahead and come onto your mat. Feel free to utilize a block if you want to find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes, relax the top of your shoulders. Begin to slow down and connect with your breath. Watching the inhale as it rises in the body. Experiencing your exhale as you empty back out. As you connect with your breath, press down through the back of your seat. Feel your waistline lengthen. Let your tongue and your jaw get soft. Imagine you're lifting or lengthening right through the back top of your skull. You might imagine that your breath is massaging your throat. Or becoming a physical symbol of that pattern of feeling and releasing. Feeling and releasing. Feeling and releasing. Then come onto all fours, hands and knees. Place your hands right beneath your shoulders. Place the knees right underneath your hips. Then as you inhale, tip the tail up, reach your heart and ribs forward. As you exhale, pull the belly back and in as you round and curl. Inhale to arch your spine, tip the tail up, stretch the ribs forward. As you exhale, look in, round and curl. As you inhale, broaden the clavicles, make room between the bottoms of your ears and the tops of your shoulders. As you exhale, spread the shoulder blades apart on the back. Come back through neutral. Take your right heel and press it backwards towards the wall behind you. Keep your outer left hip hugging in, then explore the hips. As you inhale, bring your right knee high and wide towards your tricep. As you exhale, bring the knee towards the chest and press the heel back. Keep this right in the hip rather than in the low back. As you inhale, hug the knee high and wide. Then bring your knee in and press your heel back. Abdomen stays strong. Right knee goes high and wide. Then bring your knee in towards the chest and press your heel back. 2 more with your breath. Inhaling, the knee open. Then to the chest, heel back. Knee high and wide. Left hip in. Then knee to the chest and press your heel back. Switch directions. Inhale, knee comes in towards the chest. Knee goes high and wide. Then press your heel back. Knee in towards the chest. Knee high and wide. Then press the heel back. Knee into the chest. Knee wide. And press the heel back. Couple more times, inhale. Totally normal, the purpose even, to feel some warmth in that stabilizing left hip. Last one, abdomen stays strong. And press the heel back. Good. Set the knee all the way down and towards the earth. Sit back in onto your heels. Swivel your heels over to the right side of your hips. Then stretch up long through both sides of your waist. Lower the right hand over to the right. Lift and reach through those left fingers. Pressing down into the left hip. Keep your core on. Then lengthen up and long, feeling that length through your waistline. Come back to your center, back to hands and knees, tabletop position, and check out the opposite hip. Keep your neck nice and long, gaze a little ahead of your fingers. Left heel stretches towards the wall behind you, abdomen stays in, even if that means the leg doesn't go as high, right? We're not arching into the spine, rather we're keeping that supported long lower back. On your inhale, hug your left knee high and wide towards the tricep, then bring the knee in and press the heel back. Right from the hip, right glute's gonna stay hugging in. Inhale, high and wide. Then to the chest and press your heel back. Inhale, high, wide knee. Then into the chest and press your heel back. Last two, inhale. Exhale back. Inhale, high and wide knee. Then to the chest and press your heel back. Switch directions, bring that knee in and towards the chest. Then take the knee wide into the side, then press the heel back. Knee towards the chest, we're rotating that hip bone. Looking the hip bone towards the floor, knee towards the chest. And letting that turn open some as you press the heel back. Good, couple more, inhale. Exhale, press it back. Knee towards the chest on the inhale. And take your knee wide and press the heel back. Good. Lower that knee all the way to the floor. Sit back in onto your heels. Then swivel your heels over to the outside of your left hip, sitting your right glute on the floor. Stretch your arms up, bold in breath. Then lower your left hand to the earth. Reach up and overhead with your right fingers. Nice side body length. Notice if your head starts to come forward, feel length through the back of the skull. A little width in that bottom left shoulder top. Come back to your center, inhale. Then forward and onto your hands and knees for a table. Glue down into your bottom left hand. Take your right hand, reach it up towards the ceiling. Take that arm bone around in its socket, finding some bold circles. And while you're here, really moving the shoulder blades. Sometimes this feels a little crunchy. Just moving that joint around just like your hip, and try it the opposite way. Meanwhile, hips are staying level with each other, abdomen in. This is less about the movement in the hips or more about this, and all about this freedom in the shoulder, rotation of this upper back space, that thoracic spine. And release that arm down and towards the earth. Square yourself off and ground down and into your right hand. Take the left hand up this time, turning this open for a twist. Hips are square, abdomen is in. Then take those arm bone rotations. Feeling your shoulder blade move around on its back, on the back. Still rotating your torso to look over and towards the left. Then switch directions. Take those arm bone rotations the opposite way. Deep and steady, fluid with the breath. Really welcoming this opportunity to move the body itself, but also to move whatever is inside of the body through. That might be emotion. Perhaps it's that energy of the body, getting an opportunity to express itself. Then come back to square off towards the earth. Curl your toes under, sit your hips back in towards your heels. Broaden the tops of your shoulders and rotate the elbows slightly down towards the floor. Then elevate the hips back up to high for downward facing dog. Relax the ears so they're now right inside the biceps. Stretch back and up through the hips. And if you want to pedal the heels side to side, checking in with each calf, there's definitely an opportunity here. There's also that opportunity for stillness as you ground into the inside of the hands. Letting the breath be the movement. Then rooting into your left foot, send your inner right heel upwards and towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bring that right foot forward and through in between your hands. Keep your back heel high. Inhale, stretch all the way up to tall for crescent. Abdomen draws in and on, then bend your elbows, draw your shoulders and chest open. Stretch back up through the ceiling, pinkies face forward. As you exhale, bend that left knee to hover just above your mat. Yeah, inhale, float the thigh up. As you exhale, hover that knee down. Float the thigh up on your in-breath. Then hover the knee. Inhale, float the thigh up, building some strength. Then hover the knee back down. Float the thigh up in breath. Then hover the knee. Float the thigh back up. Release your hands down and towards the earth. Shift it back and into your plank position. Then lower your elbows down and towards the earth. Widen out the tops of the shoulders. Press away from the floor, but without rounding here through the upper back. Instead, we'll keep the collarbones open. Tap your knees down and towards the floor. Try to pull your elbows back in towards your knees. Then as you exhale, float up the thighs. Tap the knees down and towards the floor, really waking up your core. Then float up the thighs. Tap the knees down and towards the earth. Then float up the thighs. Then lower the abdomen all the way to the floor. Uncurl your toes. Press away from the floor and lengthen through the back of your head. And try to pull the elbows back, reaching the ribs forward, the chest forward, the upper back open. Lower your forehead back down to the earth. Place your hands beneath your shoulders. Then elevate your hips back up to high for that downward facing dog. Might feel like the outer arms are lengthening as the inner shoulders get broad. Could feel like bringing more weight back to the thighs. Quadriceps toning. Abdomen containing itself, like it's holding the whole contents of the belly back and in toward the spine without changing the shape of the spine. It's not creating a limitation, it's creating a support. Take your left heel lifted up. That inner foot is doing the rise. So we're keeping the hips square. Feel that strength in the leg lifting itself. Then bring your left foot forward and through in between your hands. Stretch up to tall, rising up for your crescent lunge. As you exhale, bend the elbows. Get broad and open across your chest. And stretch back up through the fingers in breath. As you exhale, lower that right knee to hover just above the mat. As you inhale, float it up. As you exhale, tap the knee down. As you inhale, float it up. Then tap that knee down. Inhale, float the thigh up. Then tap the knee. Again, float it up. Then tap the knee, really waking up the legs. Float it up in breath. Then tap that knee back down. Float up the thigh, release your hands down and towards the earth. Shift it back in into your plank, then opposite elbow leading, lower the forearms down to the floor. This time, just hold the breath here. Body is still, the breath is the movement. Don't actually hold your breath. Unless you want to work with that kumbhaka position, which is very exciting, maybe early in our practice. Notice your ability to hold steady inside of this perhaps sometimes compromising position. There's that tendency to drip towards the floor, that tendency to lift the hips up. We'll hold right in the middle, keeping the neck long by looking in between the hands perhaps. Then lower your abdomen down, uncurl your toes, press into the tops of the feet. Feel the abdomen in and a small turn on in the back of your glutes. Then reach your chest forward, broaden your shoulder tops. Press into the floor as you elevate the heart and reach it forward in space. Lower your forehead down and towards the earth. Take your hands beneath your shoulders, then elevate your hips back up to high, downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Take that journey forward to the top of your mat. Might be mini steps. Bend the knees a little, halfway lift, extend your spine, slide your shoulder blade tips down the back. Then as you exhale, bow back into your legs, forward fold. Press into the feet, circle the arms up, reach all the way to tall on your inhale. Then as you exhale, bring your hands down and into your heart. On your inhale, circle the arms up, stretch tall. As you exhale, bow forward to your legs, forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift, abdomen in, extend the spine. As you exhale, plant your palms down and shift it back and into your plank position. Hold nice and steady. On your inhale, lift your right foot. As you exhale, let that foot lower down. On your inhale, lift your left foot, then lower that foot down. Inhale, lift the right foot, then lower it down. Lift the left foot, then lower it down. One more time. Inhale, lift the right foot, then lower it down. Lift the left foot, then lower it down. Take a chaturanga, lower halfway towards the earth. Press away from the mat, upward facing dog. Cobra is an option here. Then downward facing dog, hips go back to high. On your inhale, float your right leg up. As you exhale, bring that right foot forward and through between your hands. Stretch all the way up to tall, crescent lunge. As you exhale, bend the elbows, get broad across your heart and chest. Inhale, elevate up through the arms. As you exhale, tap that back knee down towards the mat. Inhale, float up that back thigh. Then interlace your fingers and place them on top of the knee. Check it with your lower spine. Sometimes we like to spill the abdomen towards the front leg. Sometimes we get a little rounded here in the upper back or even a hook underneath us of the tail. Can you find that medium line, just like your plank pose, neither spilling the abdomen forward, nor starting to get heavy in the torso or chest. Broaden out the tops of your shoulders and press into your front right foot. Hip bones are both facing the floor as you float up that back leg. On your inhale, press that heel toward the back of the room as you lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, bend both knees, bring that back knee in line. On your inhale, press the heel back, feel the strength of the back of the glute and thigh. As you exhale, bring the knee right in line. Inhale, press the heel back, outer hips have to work. As you exhale, bring the knee in line. Press the heel back on your inhale. Then bring the knee in line. One more time, feeling that stability of the standing leg. Press the heel back. Then bring the knee in line. Press that heel all the way back. Steps along for your crescent, arms reach up. Release your hands down and towards the mat, shift back and into your plank. Option to chaturanga, lowering halfway towards the earth. Press away from the earth for upward facing dog. Then downward facing dog, hips go back up to high. Float up with your left leg, in breath. As you exhale, bring that left foot forward in between your hands. Press into the earth, rise all the way up to tall, inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows, open and broad across your chest. Inhale, stretch back up, long through both sides of your waist. As you exhale, lower that back knee down and towards the earth. On your inhale, float up that back thigh. Then interlace your fingers, place them on top of your front leg. Then broad across shoulder tops, yes. Open across that front stretch of the heart. We're not trying to close the shoulders in and towards that front line. Feel the shoulder blade tips slide down the back like they're nestling towards the backs of your hips. But if they tend to hug together behind you, you can spread that lower space of the scapula. Yet again, this might remind you of plank. It's just practice. It's not right, it's not wrong. We're not doing a lot of weight bearing here. Just noticing what your natural tendency is and applying that to what is most important to you. Does that match up? Are you aligned with your values in terms of how you hold yourself in space? Press down into that left foot. Float up your back right thigh, but keep your hips square, creating that value of alignment. On your inhale, press the heel backwards, torso reaches forwards. As you exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. And just in line, actually, as you inhale, press that right heel all the way back. Low back stays long and supported. As you exhale, bring the knee in line with your front knee. Slight bend to the standing left leg. Inhale, press the heel back. Exhale, hug the knee in. Inhale, press the heel back. As you exhale, hug the knee in. Press the heel back on the in-breath. Then hug the knee in. Ooh, my wobbly leg. Press the heel all the way back. Then hug the knee in. Step it all the way back and long for crescent. Arms stretch up. Release the hands down and towards the earth. Shift it back and into your plank. Lower halfway or all the way towards the mat. Press away from the earth. Upward facing dog. Then downward facing dog. Hips go back up to high. Feel the outer edges of your hips hugging in. Inner thighs get broad. And you can check in here with the knees. Some of us like to turn the knees to look slightly in, or we'll feel the sensation of the inner thighs starting to melt in on one another. And wherever you are, equalize the weight in the feet first. Then add in the activation of the hips. And for some, it might feel like a small external rotation of the femur in its socket, while keeping your toes lining up and pointing straight ahead. Like you're gonna pull the slack out of the knee joint or broaden the calves apart from one another. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step or walk, even hop your feet lightly to your hands. Keeping the hips right over the outer ankle joint. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bow back in. Circle the arms all the way up. Stand tall, palms connect overhead. As you exhale, guide your hands in towards your heart. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth, dropping the shoulders. Reach your fingertips forward, widen out the tops of your shoulders, and find some little scapula extensions, or we call it protraction. Reach forward with the fingers, feel the shoulder blades spread apart, but keep the tops of your shoulders down and at ease. And as you exhale, guide your shoulder blade tips back like they're gonna tap behind you. Yes. As you inhale, fingertips reach forward. As you exhale, slide the shoulder blades tap back together like they're gonna tap. If you're one of the climbing community, this can be a great time to do cross training. Inhale, fingertips reach forward. As you exhale, bring those shoulder blade tips back to tap. We'll just train our protraction so we can really use it later when we get back on the wall. Inhale, reach the fingers forward. Better yet, back on the rock. Hold the shoulder blades back in together. Inhale, reach forward with the fingertips, broad and soft in the shoulder tops. As you exhale, hug those shoulder blades back, bring them to tap. Circle your arms up, inhale. As you exhale, bow forward to the legs or ankles. Inhale, halfway lift, abdomen on. You can bend the knees if that helps you extend. As you exhale, plant your palms, shift it back into your plank position. On your inhale, float up your right leg, then lower it down. Float up the left leg, then lower it down. Float the right in breath, then lower it down. Float the left, then lower it down. Still finding that protracting position. Lift the right leg, then lower it down. Lift the left, then lower it down. Downward facing dog, hips go back up to high. On your inhale, float the inner thigh up on the right leg. As you exhale, bring that right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, stretch it up for your crescent. Bend the elbows, open the heart. Inhale, reach the arms back up, pinky spin forward. Exhale, tap that back knee to hover above the mat. Inhale, float the thigh back up. Interlace your fingers, place it on top of your right leg. Press into your right foot, lift up that back inner left thigh. As you inhale, press the heel towards the back of the room. Exhale, bend both knees, bring that left knee in line with the right. Inhale, stretch the heel back. Exhale, bring the knee back in. Inhale, stretch the heel back. Then bring the knee in. Stretch the heel back on your inhale. Then bring your left knee all the way in towards the chest as you stand up tall on one leg. Hips are still squaring to each other. Low back is still neutral, neither hooking underneath you nor tipping back and curling open. Take your right hand to that left knee. Stretch that left hand behind you as you twist. Option to place your right hand on the outer edge of the left leg and apply a little pressure as you rotate. If you want to test the balance, you can look to the side or look to your back hand, making this a little flirty. Come back through center on your in-breath. Step it back to crescent as you exhale. Stretch the arms up, in-breath. Release your hands down and towards the mat. Ground down into your left hand. Spin to the pinky edge side of your left foot. Take your right foot, walk it as far back as you need as you reach your right hand up and towards the ceiling. Take your right hand, flip it to face towards the top of your mat, then press into the earth. Reach your right arm up and overhead, lift the hips skyward. As you exhale, lower your left hip closer towards the earth, reach back towards your back inner left heel. On your inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, reach back to your back foot. Inhale, lift up and long through that right side of the waist. As you exhale, reach back and towards your back left foot. Circle the hands all the way to the earth. Frame yourself off to the floor. Then take your slow chaturanga if that speaks to you today. Cobra is still an option. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Hips go back up to high. On your inhale, float up that left thigh. As you exhale, lightly step that left foot between your hands. Press into the earth. Inhale for crescent. Exhale, bend your elbows. Open chest and heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend that back knee to hover. Inhale, float up the thigh. Interlace your fingers and place them on top of that front leg. Press into your front left foot. Float up the back thigh. Inhale. As you exhale, bring the left knee or the right knee in line with your left. Inhale, press the heel back. Exhale, bring the knee in. Inhale, press that right heel back. As you exhale, bring the knee in. Press the heel back on your inhale. Then bring your right knee in and towards the chest, standing up tall on your left thigh. Catch that right knee in your left hand and reach the right hand behind you as you twist. Option to switch that left hand to the outer edge of the leg, then press the knee into the hand, press the hand into the knee to deepen into this twist. Shoulders level with one another. You can test the balance by looking towards that back right hand. Then come back through center on the inhale. Stretch back for your crescent on the exhale. Arms reach up, in breath. As you exhale, lower the hands down towards the earth. Ground into your right hand. Spin to the pinky side of your back right foot. Walk the left foot as far back as you need. Press into the floor. Really feel length in the top of that right shoulder the whole time. Left hand reaches towards the ceiling. Pressing into the earth, reach up and overhead with your left hand, side body length, outer hip stretch. As you exhale, lower that outer right hip towards the floor, reach back with those left fingers. As you inhale, reach the arm up. As you exhale, lower the hips heavier to the floor. Inhale, stretch the arm up. As you exhale, reach back. Circle the arms all the way to frame off towards the mat. Shift back to plank. Slow chaturanga. Upward facing dog, maybe cobra. Downward facing dog. Hips go back and up to high. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step, walk, or even hop your feet lightly to meet your hands. Hips over outer ankles, halfway lift. Then bow to fold. Press into the earth, circle the arms up, rise all the way to tall, palms connect. Then as you exhale, guide the hands into your heart. Good. Rooting into your left foot. Take your right foot and step it all the way back to long. Opening up for warrior two here on your left side. Arms reach out, abdomen draws in. Front palm flips towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach back, but cross your right hand in front of your torso, like you're really gonna knit and zip in your core. Still bending firmly into your front knee and turning it in the direction of your front toes. Strong back glute, like you're lengthening your right heel towards your back right heel, right? Your right glute towards your back right heel. Good. As you exhale, hover that left hand in front of your torso, reach your right arm up and overhead, but keep rotating the top side of the ribs open, top right hip open too, as you hover in space, feeling your abdomen nice and strong. As you inhale, reach back, arms cross. As you exhale, hover forward. Inhale, reach back. As you exhale, hover forward. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, hover forward. Inhale, reach back. This time, straighten out your front leg. Walk your back foot into closer if that's helpful for you. Tip forward with your torso, placing that left hand on top of the thigh, reaching your right hand up and towards the ceiling. Press into your back foot. Yeah, draw the waistline in. And if you feel inclined, turn your gaze up and towards your top right hand. Like that could help you with this process of rotating top of the ribs and hip open. Sometimes when we look towards the floor, the whole thing goes too. That said, sometimes it's nice to look down towards the floor, at least for the neck. It can be really grounding as you press into the earth and look towards it. And use the strength of your center to come all the way back up to tall. Ground into your front left foot, then draw that back right knee in and towards the chest again. Option to take your simple twist, that standing tall on one leg. Or if you're feeling prepared and the core is on, hold on to the foot and extend that right heel out. Yes, as you stand tall on your twist, right hip is a little heavy. Really important that your core be on here. We feel a levering sensation, so we're asking more of the lower back the further the hand and foot extend away from the body. Okay, bend the knee, let it go, face off towards the earth. Rooting into your right foot, take your left foot this time and step it back. Open up the arms for warrior two. Excellent. From this place of connection, take your front palm, face it towards the ceiling, reach back. Left hand crisscrosses the body. Abdomen is in and on, like it's holding in. And check that pelvic tilt. Sometimes we really like to tip the tail towards the back heel. Sometimes we really like to reach it forward towards the front knee. And instead, we'll hold the pelvis right around neutral. Crisscross the arms again. Right hand crosses in front of the torso. Left arm reaches up and overhead as a little reminder that we're coming into that rotated open position with this side line of the waist, the outer hip. Even as that front knee stays wide and open, tractioning in line with the toes. On your inhale, reach back, waistline holds strong. As you exhale, hover it forward. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, hover it forward. On your inhale, reach back, straighten out your front leg. Walk your back foot into closer. Triangle pose, reach forward with the right hand, lower it to the shin or block. Take the left hand and extend it towards the ceiling. Yeah, check where you are in space. Sometimes we have this hand a little bit further behind or even floppy overhead. We'll stack the hand right over the shoulder. And it could be as simple as like learning where the body is in space so you can move from that place. It's not that you're in the right or wrong spot, whatever that means, but rather building that power, that superpower to know where your body is being held. If it intrigues you, turn your gaze towards your top hand. That might help with the turn open of the waistline. If you need a little grounding today, as so many of us do, you can rotate the gaze to look down towards the foot. Use the strength of your center to rise all the way up to tall. Then anchor forward into your front right foot and draw the left knee in and towards the chest. Either holding onto that left knee as you twist open, or taking hold of the foot. Pinky side of the foot is being held by your right hand. Extend the heel out and level the outer left hip towards the floor. So we're still staying square. Woohoo! Breath, so steady. Spine nice and tall. Release that, let go of the foot. Stand on 2 feet. Tadasana, mountain pose. Cleansing breath, inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through the mouth. The toes come to kiss one another, hips drop low, arms stretch up for chair. As you exhale, bow forward to your legs, forward fold. On your inhale, find that halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your palms and shift it back into plank. On your inhale, float up that right thigh. As you exhale, hug the knee high and wide towards the tricep. Inhale, stretch the toes back. Exhale, set the foot down. Lift the left foot in breath. As you exhale, knee goes towards the tricep. Inhale, stretch the toes back. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift the right foot. Exhale, hug it high. Inhale, stretch the toes back. Then lower the foot down. Inhale, lift the left. Exhale, hug the knee high and wide. Inhale, stretch the toes back. Then lower the foot down and towards the mat. Downward facing dog, hips go back to high. On your inhale, lift your right inner thigh. Exhale, bring the right foot forward and through between your hands. Back toes spin to the side. Inhale, reach back, reverse, hover the left hand. As you exhale, hover it forward towards extended side angle. Inhale, reach back for reverse. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Right hand comes to the floor or block. Left heel is going to float up as you practice turning the rib cage to the side, just like you did before in that triangle. And really emulating that, even if you're looking down towards the earth, top side of the waist, top hip is turning open. And if you're feeling fiery, float up your bottom right hand, really enlisting that left side of the waist. Sometimes it helps to tap that side of the waist, be like, thanks for participating. It often needs a reminder. Reverse warrior, inhale. As you exhale, circle the hands down and towards the earth. Shift it back and into your plank again, then ground into your right hand. Pinky edge side of the right foot. Stretch that left hand up and towards the ceiling. Yeah, abdomen is on and strong. If you're feeling a little flirtatious, you can bend the knee and then extend that left heel up and skyward. You might stay with a bent knee if you're still working into that particular flexibility. Sturdy breath. Release the hand to square towards the earth. Downward facing dog. Hips go back to high. On your inhale, float up that left thigh. As you exhale, bring the foot forward and in between your hands. Rotate your back toes to look to the side. Reach back for your reverse. As you exhale, hover it forward, extended side angle. Inhale, reach back for reverse. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Left hand kisses the floor. Right hand stretches up. Top side of the torso still turning open. Press that right heel towards the back of the room. Lengthen forward with the top of your head. Ooh. And if you would like to test your balance, you might float up that bottom hand. If you need to, you can take that right hand to the top of the waist and tap it like you're reminding it to turn open, yeah? Then step it back, reverse, inhale. As you exhale, circle the hands down towards the earth. Shift it back and into plank, then plant into your left hand. Pinky edge side of that outer left foot. Side plank, strong core. Emphasizing the stability of the bottom shoulder, and that includes lining up the back of your head with the back of your ribs. So we're not taking the face forward as is so common for many of us. It could even feel like you're drawing the bottom of the chin slightly in, stimulating those hyoid muscles, those muscles right at the base of your jaw. You had those options with the leg. Then frame yourself off, look towards the mat. Lower all the way down and onto your belly. Take your right ear to the mat, looking over and towards the left. Take your left ear to the mat, looking over and towards the right. And then place your forehead to the floor, round your spine back for child's pose. Hips go back in towards the heels. Arms can come out to nice and long.
Drop right back into your breath if you ever lost it. Perhaps bringing your attention to just one thing that matters to you, one value. I've heard the marker of freedom sometimes described as teasing apart the difference between what is meaningless and meaningful. Noting what is meaningful for you right now and connecting to that space, even honoring that space. And come forward onto hands and knees, tabletop position, and option for Anahatasana, puppy pose, walking the arms out to long, finding that external rotation like down dog, then allowing the torso to drip heavier towards the floor, lower abdomen in, and outer hips are hugging in and on. Different opportunity, dolphin, hands plant to the floor, elbows are just as wide as the shoulders, even a hint closer together because they are a little wiggly, those elbows, and elevating your hips up like down dog. Opportunity, lift the left thigh maybe, or start to float with lifting away from the floor with your right foot, maybe kicking the heel towards the glute, or finding that pause in space, even extending the legs up. You can take a few breaths with that left leg lifted, or hovering in space in your forearms stand. Then switch it out. Bring that left leg back to the earth. Reach your right thigh up. If you want to do those kick-ups or floating the thigh away from the earth, you can do that. Wherever you are, press away from the earth. Relax through the neck. And find that same steady breath. Just as steady as your child's pose. Just as steady as when you had nothing else going on. But of course, it's a practice. Lower the foot back down and towards the earth. Soften your knees to the mat and allow your hips to settle back towards the heels for child's pose.
Then come all the way back to sit up and on the heels and extend the legs forward. Set it up for your Gomukhasana legs, and that might be right knee stacking on top of the left or right ankle on the outside of the left knee and hold that right knee close to you. We're just looking for that stretch in your outer right hip after all of the stability work that those hips do for you. Wherever you are, feel that length through the spine and widen and broaden shoulder tops. If you have the knees stacking, this might be where you lean forward. Then start to practice a nice, simple, I said simple, not easy breath. We'll call it our box breath, where each side of the breath is the same length, so we're making a box. The inhale, the hold at the top, the exhale, and the hold at the bottom. So inhaling for the count of 4, 3, 2, and 1, then hold at the top for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale 4, and hold for 4, exhale 4, and hold out for 4. Again for 4. And hold for 4. Exhale out for 4. and hold out for 4. One more time. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And hold out for 4. And sit back up to tall in the spine. If you tip forward, release that subtle twist if you were holding the knees, and unravel the legs. Take those legs the opposite way, stacking the left knee on top of the right knee, grounding into the earth with both glutes, lifting in the side of the waist, lifting the spine, but noticing if there's any unnecessary tension in the shoulders, and go ahead and let that go. Your other option is to press that left foot into the floor on the outside of your right knee. Hold that left knee towards you for a subtle twist. And observe if you kind of tip into one side of the waist or the other, and we'll even that space out, keeping the spine relatively neutral, just subtly twisted. And close your eyes wherever you've decided to be. And begin that practice of counting out the breath. And this time you'll be in charge. It might be a little slower, a little faster. Finding a way to make this practice sustainable to you, useful to you. Perhaps the most useful practice is the one that you are willing to do. The one that you'll actually show up for, and that might mean that you just do one round of breath. Or you shorten the holds to just 2 counts on either side. You might need a little more adventure, a little challenge in order to keep yourself harnessed and focused on the breath. So you can extend this to the count of 5 or 6 if that is available in your body. Notice where resistance shows up or compliance. Where is this balance between free will, sovereignty? And the honoring of wisdom, the surrender. The allowance of receiving help, support. And release that bind to the legs. Sit back up to tall and bend your knees. Recline all the way down and onto your back. Find your block if you have it. Bridge pose, supported or not. Press into the earth with the backs of the arms. Lift your hips up. If you want that support, take your block and slide it right underneath your hips, right on that back line of the sacrum. That lowest section of the spine, or the place right at the very top of the hips. If you're not utilizing a block, you can bind the hands behind you, press into the floor with the arms, feeling the chest nice and broad. Still staying with a deep, slow breath.
Then release, lower your hips all the way down to the floor. You can place that block in between the inner thighs, or let the block go, or utilize this without the block. Rotate your hips slightly to the left, knees go all the way to the right for supine twist, gaze rotating to look towards your left hand. Still enjoying that sweet passage of breath, or even connecting to that which is most meaningful to you, that which matters to you right now. That doesn't have to be a trap. That sense of meaning can be fluid, just like the breath, changing, shifting, but also on its own level, ever present. Bring your knees back through center. Rotate the knees over to the left, hips shift lightly to the right, or even more to the right than before, balancing off any adjustments you made on the opposite side. Gaze goes to the right. It's your more surrender twist. Perhaps this is a time for you to come back through the middle. Come back to neutral. Come home. And bring your knees through center and set up for Shavasana, extending the legs long, resting your hands by your sides. If you have something here in your space that would help you feel even more comfortable, even more prepared for rest, you're welcome to utilize that. A different option could be to rest a hand somewhere on the body, perhaps lightly on the heart, the chest, or resting on the abdomen. Feeling your sense of strength or even that consistency of the heartbeat. Reveling in your ability to be here in your body in simplicity. This place you can return to. Letting this breath, at least for the duration that we're alive, be the certainty. Cherishing this ability to breathe for as long as you have it.
And bringing to mind one thing that you're grateful for, one thing specifically. Letting that gratitude for that person, that experience, that joke, that fabric, that taste permeate the experience you're having in your body right now. And calling to the forefront of your mind another thing you're grateful for, letting that too sink in and become a physical sensation right here, right now. And one more gratitude, one more recognition, one more appreciation. Begin your process of waking up. You can move the fingers, the toes, the wrists. Take a long stretch or hold the knees close. And press away from the earth and come all the way up and into a seat. Connect your hands lightly at the heart, then bowing to the practice, bowing to the light within. I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you for practicing with me. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you. I know a lot of you are connecting with me on Instagram or anything else. You can even call me. Happy times. Let me know what you want and need, and let me know how I can support you. Also, feel free to visit mesaroom.com. There is an opportunity to opt in to pay dues or whatever it is that you feel comfortable paying in order to support the staff during this time. So please check that out, mesaroom.com, opt-in option. It's greatly appreciated by our community, and we cherish your support. So thank you so much. Have a good one.